Ohio. Ohio. Do I need to restart the stream? Or can you hear me? Testing, testing. I'm telling you guys, this is the single weirdest tech issue or bug I've ever discovered. Every single time, without fail, only in this Discord, not in any other Discords I'm in this Discord, when I start an event, I have to join the stage, leave the stage, come back up, and then my mic works. The weirdest, I can't think of what broken code could possibly even create that bug. Like, so weird. I think I have to do it every time. So you guys will notice whenever I start a stream in here, I'm gonna start it, leave the stage, and then come back. Alright, we should also be live on YouTube. If people want to throw me a sub or a like over there, or just keep the stream open in the background, feel free to mute it, minimize it. Let's see here. Your connection is bad? I mean, if you can hear me and it's working, the Discord bug is a very specific thing. Okay, let's check out ETH first. ETH is dipping right now. It's actually getting near a stop loss of mine because I added to my long this morning. Kind of a risky place. I'm keeping a close eye on it. Alright. So, let me switch my view here. Okay. So, alright. I think I added to my long in here somewhere this morning. I don't remember where exactly. Currently, still not worried. If we keep falling further, I'm probably going to stop myself out. But right now, does look like we're doing a fairly standard, some kind of formation. Maybe it's a wedge, maybe it's a bull flag. But so at the moment, I'm actually not worried until we break through this line. And then actually, yeah, let's see where our volume lies. So funny enough, right on this fib line, let's zoom out and see what we're looking at. So we're looking at ETH USD right now. I need to figure out. Oh, that's our fib line that matches up with both fibs we drew. So we have an upside down fib going from here to here, this being our bottom, and then we also have an upwards fib for our first rise. And this is one of our levels where both of the fibs perfectly line up. Let's zoom back in here, and everything is messed up. So in theory, this line right here, where these colors divide, should be very strong resistance. So if we get around there, that could be a place to bid again. This level is just under 2,500, 2,480. It says on the right side. Actually, you can't quite see it because the Bitcoin chart is there. Still can't see it. Wait, let me fix mine. Get all this in screen. There we go. 2482 technically, but we'll see. Need to keep this up. I just remembered. All right. Watch on YouTube. Might make this sort of a short market stream. I have a feeling my throat's gonna give out on me. I'm fighting off a little illness this week. Holy moly, is this all this week? Okay, let's see. Here, cool. Okay, so who knows when he added this? This could have been any time in the last week. Greed was at 70. Greed is now at 73. So let's go down here. So we're definitely near sort of the top of the trend. We can definitely get a bit more greedy, and usually we do when a bull run first kicks off. So this can get higher, but I mean, you can just see here within the last month, greed is at its highest level ever, which makes sense. We can look at almost any chart and see why this song is playing. I have no idea. Fuck that. Let me get a better music mix going. What was I saying? Oh yeah, easy to see why market is in big greed. I think we were looking at the weekly candles the other day and we noticed, yeah, this is the single biggest weekly candle we've had on ETH since this one all the way back here. So greed is going to be high. Definitely trade safe. I mean, just look at this. Look at how like choppy it is, right? When's the last time you saw ETH doing percent real quick here? ETH has swung down 5% today. It swung up 12% yesterday. So trade carefully. That's what I would pull from Feed and Greer Index. The greed and fear and greed. Okay, last week we saw a total net inflow into spot Bitcoin ETFs of $600 million. The net outflow from ETH ETFs was $60 million. Interesting. I would not have expected there to be a net outflow from ETH ETFs this week. Oh no. How do I make this? Oh, there we go. There we go. I've actually never looked at this site before. Okay, so let's see. So value. Here we have our various ETFs. Well, I just need to look at this interface for a second. What are we looking at? Okay, so this is all Bitcoin ETFs. Yeah, okay, I see. ETH, UT ETFs. Okay, so let's see. Funny enough, there's been outflows from BTC ETFs today, which kind of makes sense. We've seen a bit of a drawdown. Whereas ETH ETFs are up, which makes me think some bigger clientele in the TradFi market probably bid this recent dip. In fact, look at this little chart here. So this is the inflow chart, right? This is, well, blue, let's see. Blue is the ETH price. White is net assets. Okay, total net assets in the ETF, and then the bars are inflow and outflow. So let's actually zoom this out to weekly. I kind of want to see. Wait, did that change anything? Why is it just lowering my resolution? Oh, date range. Am I doing something wrong? Daily. Weekly date range. I'm not sure how to operate this chart. I feel like a boomer. Sorry, I was not looking at chat either. Nice haircut. I did not get a haircut, but thank you. I think my hair looks like sick hair. I literally have just been in bed. Do you stake on so value? No, I've never even seen this site actually. I don't know what this is. What is so value? Anyways, I thought there was something interesting in this chart in that this spiking inflow, but I think this is just like our past 2 weeks. I don't know why I can't zoom in on this chart. Or zoom out, either. But that's okay. You see Bitcoin's rebounding pretty nice in the corner here. I mean, we're on the 5-second chart again, so let me zoom out. You see we still got... Or actually, wait. Let's hop over to the Bitcoin chart before we get back to news stories here. I'm not going on TradingView right now just because I have my TradingView charts being used for other things at the moment. Okay, those are some pretty promising wicks. Here, 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 and here tells me that I use silly language with trading, but it just works. It feels like we're slightly allergic to this price range now. We've gotten down there and tested it and popped back up. Now that could be invalidated very easily. We have an overall downward trend, I'd say. Let's throw a couple basic... Oh wait, no, I forgot. This is our much longer term chart. Okay. Okay, we need to make some closer term fibs. So let's do our peak here, and we'll just do the full wicks. Actually, will we? What do we want to do here? I'm just seeing if any of these make anything line up particularly interestingly. I'm gonna go with that one. I see a couple lines that seem to act significant. Is it a good time to buy? Spot? Yeah. I think don't put all your money in. We might dip some more, but don't be stuck on the sidelines right now. When it starts ripping again, it's gonna start pumping pretty hard. What do you think about opening a hedged position? Do you also use it occasionally? Do you mean like opening a short alongside a spot long? Or what do you mean by hedged position? There's a lot of different ways you can hedge. But by the way, that's the perfect type of question for this stream, like what Sukumu just asked. So if anyone has these types of questions, or even just like, how do you recommend I get in? If I say certain trading terms you guys don't know, feel free to just drop it in chat and I'll do a quick little overview. Open both at the same time, like a short and a long on the same asset at once, you mean? I do it sometimes on platforms that make it easy. The way I would do something like that is, so let's say I bought somewhere down here, and I had a Bitcoin position that I was riding up. Once we got, I don't know, somewhere in this range up here, actually, I know these aren't how these arrows are usually used, but red, I'm gonna, oh, can I not rotate them? I can't because they're, okay, for the purpose of this example, here's how I'm gonna use these arrows. Upward green means opening a long. Downward green means opening a short. Red would mean closing or opening long. So I might open along here, ride it up to here, and say, I think Bitcoin's going to keep going, which I do. I don't want to necessarily close my long. One strategy you could do is add to it on dips. You could just do something kind of like this, where if you buy here, you ride it up. Once it starts cooling off, you buy again on a dip. But another way to kind of use hedging is, let's say you get up here, you don't touch your Bitcoin long position, you just open a short alongside it. And in this case, this actually probably would have fucked you, because if I had opened a short anywhere in here, I probably would have put a stop loss for that short position just above these wicks. This wick here probably would have stopped me out. But again, just using as an example, yes, you could totally, didn't want to delete the arrow. You could totally do something like this. Open a short there, somewhere down here, close your short, and then you could even use the money from that short to add to your long. Now this is slightly more risky advanced trading. Actually, I wouldn't even call it advanced. You have to be very active. You either need to feel really comfortable setting stop losses and market or limit positions and then sort of just letting them play out, or staring at the charts and being ready to move and jump on things at a moment's notice. Does this kind of make sense though, Suku? Is this sort of what you meant by a heads position? So if you're holding along from here, you keep holding it. Instead of closing it, you open a short. Close the short once it's drawn back a little, and then you could or couldn't add to your position. This one's optional, right? But you would effectively earn a little bit of money without touching your long on the way up. Kind of like playing off the drawdowns. That's absolutely a strategy. In fact, that's, if you can do that right, it's a pretty profitable strategy, because it's basically scalping or day trading or short swing trading, which means it's hard to get it right, but okay. So I'm actually seeing just a couple interesting things on ETH. Ever since we had our initial pump, this one, it seems like we've been definitely like predictably moving price levels somewhat. So like this whole section right here seems interesting to me. It was very condensed. But I don't really see anything I can chart off of it that's helpful. One trend line I am going to add though, just because it seems obvious and apparent, like it just jumps out to me how straight the bottom of this little rise is. So I'm going to leave that there. This could be a potential future resistance where we bounce off, or it could be a sign of resuming a bull phase if we get above it and hold it. Also, I'm only on the 15-minute right now. Let's fix that. There we go. Underneath. So currently I have, let me see, what is this at? 2523. Where is 2523? Oh wait, no, I'm looking at. Wow, I thought I was looking at. God, I'm sorry guys, my sick brain. I slept like a rock last night, but I feel like I didn't sleep. I thought I was looking at Bitcoin. I mean, I thought I was looking at the Ethereum chart for a minute here. Everything I said still applies, luckily. Charting is asset agnostic. Why do I feel like I see something here? No, I don't. No. Looks like possibly I was seeing a straight line somewhere through there. Bitcoin, though, I forgot we just switched to this. Let's zoom out again a little here. God, remember when we were just talking about this price level? Like, feels like only a week or two ago. It was, actually. And I was basically saying if it enters this box, bid. Look at that. If anybody listened and bought in on that wick, you would be a happy, happy trader. In fact, I called the fucking Pico bottom on that. Look at that. It's one of my more impressive TA things, to be honest. Yeah, Suku was there. I ain't lying. Okay, so I have a bunch of long positions and one or two short positions in somewhat risky positions, so I'm just kind of monitoring everything closely today. We'll jump and forth between things, but for now, let's keep moving with a couple of these news stories. I'm going to assume. Oh no, holy smokes. Almost an equal amount of long and short contracts. Let's see when this was. Oh, no, I forgot. It's not a news story. But we can probably. Hour. Okay, so this, let me make sure these dates line up. May 12. Interesting. Okay, so this red candle was our liquidations, our bear liquidations on yesterday's run. Let me switch back to ETH. Shows it a little bit better. This run up right here yesterday. Let me triple check. May 13th. Yeah, May 13th. May 13th. Yep. So like these were our liquidations, which is kind of funny. Just when you think that this was just an extension of the prior pump. The real pump was May 7th through 10th. So I'm gonna guess that's no May. Okay, this big chunk of red liquidations. These are the ones we were watching live come in on Agger, like the thing over there in the other corner of my screen. All of these. Actually, for people who haven't seen this before, this whole module in the corner, uh, this thingy. Hello? Whoa. I'm a simple man. That entertains me. I'm a simple man. Um, yeah, real quick though, for anyone just curious, like what this thing is over here. So this is looking at, and when I say over here, other corner of the screen from my face, this is looking at an aggregated price of Bitcoin across all of the big sexes and a couple dexes. Here is basically, oh, you can't see my mouse. Now you can see it, right? Yeah. Well, YouTube can't, but that sucks. Everything above this golden bar here are market orders of above, I think I set it to be only 100K and up. So whether it's a buy or a sale, if an order larger than 100K happens on any of these hey, Rick's working again. Cool. And then below it, this gold thing and the empty space below it are liquidations. So far there's been one bull liquidated for 200,000 since we started the stream. That's what that gold thing means. I think it's good to look at. It's good to look at every metric you can get your hands on, but I don't really trade based off liquidations, or I don't really factor this into my trading much. Rick works in Discord, but not Telegram. Okay, I'll look into that later. Liquidations seem to be more of something you can learn from after the fact. You don't really get to learn from liquidations until they've happened. You can't predict them. So it's good to look at market movements after and see like where people were maybe over leveraged, where liquidations happen. But I hardly ever would look at something like this to determine what I'm going to do with my next trade. There's a term for it. There's like different types of data when it comes to training, or information. It could be information or data, any piece of knowledge or information that you're using in trading. There are terms for ones that are sort of stale and old, like knowing them helps you know something about what happened in the past, but it does not necessarily help or reflect with the future. Liquidations are kind of one of those types of things. Excuse me. Okay, we got a little bullishness on BTC. So I did do some buying today on these dips. I bought some Bitcoin back here. I bought some ETH a little bit higher. NFA, I think we've had a big run up, and crypto is known for flash liquidations, but some people were just asking earlier. I'm generally bullish right now. I'm keeping all my longs open. I've taken some profit on some, but I've only used it to buy back in lower. Okay, MicroStrategy acquires 13,000. Oh my god. Bringing their total to over 500,000 Bitcoin. How many Bitcoin are currently circulating? Doesn't MicroStrategy have like... Wait, is this updated data? Okay, we're getting some nice buys too. In the corner here you can see. Look at that wall of green. Small buys though, and all on Deribit. Wait, is that? No. Which logo is that? That B with the green line under it? Bitstamp. Bitstamp? Look, I didn't forgot they're still around. They're the oldest crypto exchange, actually. How many Bitcoins are there? Okay, this many. Is one... Wait, did I just do my math right? Does MicroStrategy hold 1/35 of all Bitcoins in existence, basically? Oh, lol. Yeah, I'm retarded. Yeah, no, that's about the number I was seeing the other day. Yeah, they almost own 3% of all Bitcoin in existence. Um, there's nothing wrong with that. Fuck anybody out there telling you that that ruins its decentralization. Screw anybody telling you that MicroStrategy acquiring that much is... The only thing it is it's dangerous to the market, because if they were to get liquidated or bankrupt or anything, they hold so much they could tank the price, or if they just decided to. But in terms of decentralization, it's not a proof of stake coin. It's not a coin with like a bunch of governance going on. It doesn't matter that they hold a huge chunk. If anything, we should be like celebrating them, in my opinion. Cool little site. I can't believe I've never seen this before. Oh, let's look into this real quick. An estimate on how many Bitcoins have been lost. This is not where I expected to go. Okay. There are many stories of... Actually, hold on. Maybe I shouldn't go off on tangents. Do you guys want me to stay focused? And also, I'm going to put this up here so it's less in the way of things. You only need to see a little bit of chat. Okay, let me just power scan through this. Okay, this makes total sense to me. There's two categories of how Bitcoin can be lost. Systemic loss, a large cohort of BTC which was mined together and lost together in the early days of Bitcoin by Satoshi and other first miners. Bitcoin's Carboniferous period, that's funny. And then the standard way we think of people just losing over time. What's up, Wednesday, Ohio? Oh, we doing all right. We doing all right. Average. Uh, okay, here we go. It's impossible to know, but based on the analysis above, we can make an informed guess. This will be easier with an absolute version. Okay, a more precise estimate. Let's see. Okay, happily our friends at Chainalysis have already made such analysis. In an excellent Forbes article published last year, they used an approach and make their own estimate. 2.7 to 3.7 million bitcoins are possibly lost. It is encouraging that our simple approach, based on looking at UTXO ages, accords with Chainalysis's more sophisticated approach. Okay, so that's the estimate. Somewhere 3 million bitcoins, plus or minus half a million, are probably lost. So that means there will only be 18 or 19 million Bitcoin ever, not 21 million. People don't talk about that enough, in my opinion. That's a large percent. People forget 21 million is not that big of a number. Okay, Metaplanet acquires an additional 1.2 thousand BTC. Cool. I should be following these guys. Let's see, did they do anything interesting? BTC yield is a key performance. God, I actually wonder, what does the BTC yen chart look like? Or JPY? Sorry, just let my brain go. Okay. Yeah, I think we're just both of these kind of go together. I think we're going to see more and more of this as time goes on. More ETFs being added, more companies putting it on their books, companies that have already been putting it on their books, doubling and tripling down like this. So let's see. These guys only held like 5,500 Bitcoin before, and then they bought another 1,200. So they effectively were confident enough in Bitcoin to buy like 20 to 30% increase in one go. Whatever 1,200 would be out of 55. And that's just these. All of trading and free markets, it's more about psychology and philosophy, in my opinion at least, than it is about being a number cruncher or a finance person. It's so weird. Like just the whole and the concept of the free market being a living entity, the way that we interact with everything within trading, things like these. You shouldn't think of MicroStrategy and MetaPlanet as like super wealthy traders that know more. It's more nuanced than that, right? So just being like, oh, okay, these guys are bullish on Bitcoin. They have a lot of money. They bought a lot. This is the equivalent to me buying half a Bitcoin, just money wise. It's totally different. When you're a company, especially I don't know what you'd consider these actually. I was about to say TradFi, Web3. If you're a somewhat traditional standard company, you have normal government paperwork filing, you're not using offshore accounts, you're just like MicroStrategy. For people that don't know, MicroStrategy did things before they started investing in Bitcoin. What did they do again? They did like cybersecurity or something. Business intelligence and analytics platform. Now they're basically just a Bitcoin investment vehicle. It's weird. But companies approach things way differently. So when you see someone like MicroStrategy is maybe not the best example because they are just a Bitcoin investment. Whenever you see BlackRock here, actually, this means that these companies have done short, mid, long-term analysis. They've done market analysis on various potential outcomes of everything people are unsure about in the world right now. And what I mean is some people are iffy on markets due to political reasons, war, whatever it might be. check ETH. What do we got going on ETH? What am I checking? um, what was I just saying? So like let's say people are unsure about tariffs. That's a good example right now. When a company like BlackRock or Metaplanet Strategy makes these buys, they've probably done analysis on every possible outcome of those things. So let's say the tariffs get enforced in full. Let's say they're completely abandoned. Let's say they're put in place for a short term. They've ran strategies on all of these different possibilities and determined that overall, on average, it's probably a good idea to buy Bitcoin. Or Ethereum, in BlackRock's trust here. So I could have said all of this in a much shorter way. If you see a really rich whale trader telling you they bought something on Twitter, like a Web3 account, probably safe to ignore it. They probably want you to buy their bags. If you see a company buy a fuckload of something, they're only telling you because they have to, and because it's going to be public on the blockchain anyways. They're not necessarily doing it for you to buy their bags. They actually have done insane amounts of research, right? Entire departments of their company to assess that this purchase was a good idea. What up, Kozel? What up? ETH's starting to pull back. Someone said earlier in the chat. I mean, I think I'm hoping it's done pulling back, actually. I'm thinking this was our low. If we want to count this as the start of it, we'd also have a pretty nice 3 dives pattern. Beep, 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 beep. And then we go back up. Hopefully. We're going to keep an eye on it. How you doing, Kozel, though? How you doing, brother? What's up, ZK Love? Ohio DP. I haven't even looked at Discord. See how many people joined. Hello, everyone. I know it's not a tea time, but is anyone joining me? Actually, I have coffee for once. So Bitcoin, one reason we're looking at Bitcoin on this chart up here, it defines the market, and it probably will for at least the next 5 or 10 years. TON, TRX, and to a little bit Ripple are the only coins that don't just totally follow Bitcoin. TON and Tron, TON and TRX, they're just fucking bizarre. They don't work with the same market makers. They aren't traded in the same pools and places, so they don't follow Bitcoin as much. But for the most part, I could just look at this aggr trade above us for Bitcoin and have a rough idea of how the whole market's going, right? So right now, this looks like a good sort of potential reversal point. If we can get a good leg up from here, it would mean we're sort of out of this choppy down area. And I would be pretty confident that the rest of the market is at least following. So let's check that, actually. I'm going to mess up one of my other charts, but I'm going to revert. Why does it always go to link on this computer? Even the URL says Bitcoin. See, now it says link, even though I'm on Bitcoin. I don't get trading views sometimes. Yep, look at that. I mean, we're literally on the 1 minute chart, so don't put too much faith in it. But just by seeing that Bitcoin is fighting for a bounce here and kind of possibly look, although this looks like we might actually see a big drawdown here, potentially. This looks weak, this Bitcoin movement. Oh, we'll keep an eye on it. In fact, I wonder, can I do... Oh, I can switch between them. Cool. Yeah, but yeah, I'm hoping typical 3 dives, falling wedge, bull flag, whatever this is, that decent chance that was our bottom on ETH. I'd say 50%. By the way, Timmy, did you lose any funds during the Luna crash? Are you kidding me? Did you fill out any forms to recover them? I never got any forms. I lost a fuckload of money in Luna. You guys know Do Kwon's rocking a profile picture I made for my NFT collection, right? I made this. And this is a fellow person in Cosmos's face, and so he's now in SEC filings. Yeah, I lost a lot of money in Luna. In fact, Makes me so sad. I recorded this the day of. Oh my god, it was almost, look at the date in the top right. It was almost 2 years ago. Exactly. 2 years and a couple days ago. You ready for it? You ready for the collapse? Oh wait, no, this video is much longer. I forgot. Maybe I'll skip a little bit. Yep, here's where it. It's kind of fun watching the price chart though, isn't it? Once it dropped under $30, I kind of knew. I was like, zero chance this comes back. And UST couldn't get back above like 80. Yeah, geez, Kozel. What a bunch of shit to have happening at once. Oh, I synced up the music with this part because it seemed hopeful. It seemed like maybe this was the reversal. Look, UST's above 80 cents. Everyone was so hopeful. We were on like live, Twitter spaces and stuff while this was happening. Forget what this is. Oh, yeah. This is when it really. So this was the day after. You can see the date in the top right change. This was the next day. Bottom left chart is just a zoomed out version of the top left chart. And then right is UST. This is a mix of TradingView, Binance, and AgriTrade is actually what we're using today too. AgriTrade is the thing above me. Oh, I think when the song kicks in here is when it really happens. Yep. Oh my god, I'm living the emotional roller coaster again. I forgot there was that little teasy dip. Look at this. False hope. And then more hope. But then I threw in this line, that blue line, and I was like, that's what we need to get above. And we couldn't. Oh, there it goes. Oh, oh. And I had to zoom out just. Oh, oh. Hashtag free dough. Man, that got me in my feels. Damn, that was the most emotional time I've had in crypto. There was nothing like that 2 or 3 day period. Holy fuck, it was nuts. The only thing that would probably be equivalent is like anyone who experienced like the Gox collapse. Holy shit. Anyways, now we got some Michael Jackson playing. Back to the upbeat. Okay. Alright, no more Skyfall. Hyperliquid. Okay, actually, I don't even need to click on this one. I saw this. Hyperliquid seems to be ripping. Actually, we'll see what the source. Oh, it's just doing. Yeah, I've seen. I actually wait. You guys will see something hilarious. How am I gonna find this? Let's see. Reddit. To use Hyperliquid. Oh, the funniest post in the world. Yep, here we go. No way, I found it. Trading futures with 1x leverage. It's probably haram putting 2x to 125x leverage. In Islam, in Arabic religion, you can't do anything that charges or gives you interest. You can't take any loans or debts, so leverage trading fits that. This person's asking, but with 1x leverage, because liquidation is price zero, it's like normal spot trading. Purpose of me trading leverage is there's a specific airdrop going on you wanted to farm. Wait, how does this only have 3 upvotes and it's a year ago? I've seen this screenshotted as a meme in like so many different places. Wait, what is the answer? The majority of scholars consider futures to be haram, but you can find some who say it's permissible with certain conditions. I was very curious about derivatives and their permissibility, so I did a fair amount of searching, reading scholarly opinions, and listening to talks on derivatives. I have found some scholars who are very knowledgeable about finance, and I follow them. Mufafa's Adam, bunch of names I'm not going to say. I would recommend. Okay. Hilarious. Um, for some reason, I thought that was about Hyperliquid, but definitely not if it was a year ago. Yeah, I hate Dune sometimes. Hyperliquid doing good though. I might try trading on there soon. Just kind of see how it's like. I use DYDX right now. And God, let me quickly explain how annoying DYDX was to use until. Do I not have Microsoft Paint? Hello? Wait, do I not have Microsoft Paint? Okay. That's annoying. Whatever. A backpack. Former FTX EU customers may now complete the 2-step process to claim the Euro funds via backpack, get verified, withdraw funds. Cool. Okay. I did not use FTX, also not European. But it actually might be a good thing. I'm going to share this in the Discord just in case we have people affected. It's definitely a good thing for people to know. Alright. Is Lycos in here by chance? Oh, Lycos. I saw this section up at the top. If you wanted to do this today, we could. I'm already running out of energy, so you could take over in a second here after we get through these. Your call. Otherwise, I'll probably just end the stream slightly early. My head's starting to hurt again. US to... fucking tariff shit. See, I bet this is already even different, depending on when this was from. May 12th. I don't think anything's changed in the past 2 days. Fuck off. I'm not buying you, Bloomberg. I don't think this is... You know, let's ask fucking Grok. It's really good with current events as opposed to ChatGPT, which is better with other things. Can you summarize the timeline of the tariff negotiations between Donald Trump and there's been so much back and forth here that last I heard there's almost no like Ramalka. Yeah, no worries about the YouTube one. I appreciate it. You can always just put it on 1440p on YouTube too. Okay, second turn. This is what I care about. And then Kozel said to me, check this. I'm not sure if it's the US also, but still you can just forms official portal. Okay, I'll check it out. I don't know if I'll be able to claim anything really, but we'll see. Thank you. Okay, yeah, okay, so this is caught up with where we are. No changes in the last like day or two. So all of Trump's big tariff claims, of course, didn't happen because they were retarded. And I think he had a lot of people telling him that, so he backed down. That was part of the deal. So 30% tariffs are where we're at now. Chinese tariffs, 10% on us. I don't want to get too into politics during these streams, to be honest. This is good for economy as a whole. I think part of these announcements, when was this first announced? 10th, so 12th, it was probably finalized when that Bloomberg article came out. So yeah, that probably helped with actually continuing our pump the other day. There's this interesting interplay between finance and politics where even things that aren't directly financially related in politics and world drama, you could say, matter because traders and investors care about certainty. So tariffs do actually directly have to do with finance. But even if they didn't, even if this was legislation about like immigration between China and the US or like tourist or travel, I'm trying to think of something not finance related. Even if it was something like that, it can still affect the market because investors want certainty. So once deals are reached, once it seems like the two parties are actually talking and negotiating, people are usually more comfortable putting their money into things in general. I forgot I have to keep this clicked for us to be able to see it update. Okay, Ethereum. One reason I like this chart, even though it's chaos and disgusting, is you can kind of see how things are performing relative to each other. So Bitcoin's our candle that you can barely see in the middle. Orange is Ethereum, this orange thick line. And so just at a glance, I can tell, okay, let's keep zooming out. Let's see if it makes a difference. So Bitcoin doesn't move as much. That's pretty standard. But let's look from this little peak. So what I'm going to do is see where my mouse is, this recent peak. We're just on the 1 minute chart. I'm going to line that up with the very start of my chart so that that peak is like the 0 point, this line, 0%. And okay, yeah, we can see, you can see what I meant about Tron, right? Tron and sometimes Ton are the only ones that don't follow the market. This one is Tron. They follow it roughly, but everything else dipped. Tron decided to rise a bit. Everything else showing a little bit of weakness against Bitcoin, but that makes sense because if we zoom out more, yesterday's pump, this area right here, again, let me line up with, you can see everything outperformed Bitcoin too. So this isn't something to be scared about that things are underperforming Bitcoin. It's because yesterday and the day before they outperformed it. So Bitcoin all the way down here, right, it's grown 3% since the start of the pump to 3 days ago, 4 days ago. My chart's a little more zoomed out than I thought. And other things ripped much higher. You know, Ethereum got up to 38%. So when I zoom in here, it doesn't really worry me. but I'm going to do the same thing where just like how I aligned this little tiny peak with the start of our chart, I'm now going to align this trough, this lowest part. That's going to be the very start of our chart, which is very recent, and we're on the 1 minute. So again, I'd never put much faith into this, but since our local bottom, injective is bouncing the hardest. So for example, if I was day trading on Helix or Injective, I might open a long on Injective here. It clearly has the most bounce in it. Ethereum, above most of Ethereum altcoins, like this thick green one is Chainlink. I use it as a good barometer for like, it's a blue chip ERC20. It usually moves like Ethereum, but either more extreme or less extreme. And so I use it as a barometer like, okay, right now there's still a good bit of attention on ETH. There's very few coins above it from this low. Again, not much of this would make me trade off of it. Injective, this line, I would probably do some charting and see if I wanted to enter along. But other than that, that's just sort of how I use this chaos chart and like keep an eye on things. We'll go back to Agra for now because it's pretty. Sorry, Timmy, can I do it on a different day? So, yeah, totally, Lycos. Yeah. Honestly, maybe let's do it later this week instead of waiting for Wednesday. Next Wednesday, or maybe the weekend. I'll talk to you. Shoot me a message. Yeah, YouTube's actually going to be easier to watch than Discord if your internet's bad, funny enough. So it's another good reason I'm streaming on YouTube too. Okay. So, yep, this is good news. I have a feeling that these negotiations are actually going to continue in a good direction. I know I'm usually I'm always anti-Trump, but I have a feeling he has his head on more straight about this now. He's actually talked with Xi Jinping. They've not just shouted at each other over the internet and through their aides. So I'm hopeful on the tariff situation. This could be cut even lower. Other good news would be this 90 days being extended. Those are two pieces of news to watch out for. That would be bullish signals. Many others, among others. SEC Chair Paul Atkins, who I don't know much about, I have to be honest. I gotta read up on him a bit more. Speaking at the May 12th, 2025 Tokenization Roundtable, announced a shift from enforcement-driven crypto regulation to a rational framework. Oh, I saw this. Focusing on clear roles for issuance, custody, and trading to foster. Awesome on paper, could be super awesome. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get a summary on this. I normally I'd read the whole thing. I'm just not gonna make you guys wait for me to do that on stream. What exactly are we looking at, actually? Statement. Can't pocket type. Okay, please summarize the key points in this statement/speech, and please analyze and lay out the different ways the statements could be interpreted or put into... They didn't ask for fucking images? What the fuck? Is this just what Chappie... Wait, 12 images? Why? No, I only have 4. Is it pulling these from somewhere? Maybe from these source links? I've never seen ChatGPT do this. Okay. Okay, so remember this is the SEC chairman, right? Yeah, SEC chair making statements on crypto. So in his speech the other day, he talked about emphasizing moving away from regulation by enforcement towards proactive rulemaking, interpretive guidance, and exemptions tailored to the crypto industry. He had three main pillars of reform. Issuance. The SEC aims to establish clear guidelines for distributing crypto assets classified as securities or investment contracts. Atkins acknowledged that existing registration forms, like S1, are ill-suited for crypto assets and need adaptation. That's solid. Um, Basically what this means in short, this part, so far they've been trying to fit crypto related things into existing frameworks. So like, you until recently in America, you would get the same paperwork to fill out for taxes for crypto investments as you would for any other asset. It's only recently that they've started making ones specifically for crypto, which are much better because then you're not shoehorned into a set of legislation and rules that were built for something else, right? They're built for a totally different type of asset or security, not a Web3 one. Custody. Let's see. The SEC plans to provide greater flexibility in how registrants custody crypto assets, including classifying the status of qualified custodians and considering exceptions to existing custody requirements. Might ask it to expand on this one. Atkins supports modernizing the alternative trading system regulatory regime to better accommodate crypto assets and exploring conditional exemptive relief to facilitate innovation, and then alignment with presidential vision. So Atkins aligned with SEC incentive. I want to check our other chart. Atkins aligned the SEC incentives with President Trump's goal of making the US the crypto capital of the planet, emphasizing the need for regulatory framework that supports innovation while protecting investors. Okay, potential interpretations of this speech. Enhanced clarity. Clear guidelines could reduce uncertainty for crypto businesses, encouraging innovation and compliance. This is super true. There are so many people that might have an idea for a crypto company or traditional companies that want to move into crypto, but they just don't want to take the risk right now because it's not clear. They're not going to go out on a limb and innovate if they're not sure they might get shut down. Investor protection. Self-explanatory, would be great to have more of it. Market growth, a supportive regulatory environment, basically built on this. The safer the market is, the more people are going to participate, more people are going to build in the market. Got a talent for live streaming, want to play Geo, is there no game today? We don't usually do games during these market streams now. Okay, so here's where it gets a little interesting. I asked it to kind of look at it skeptically, let's say. So here's how what that was said in this speech here could possibly be interpreted in a bad way. There's a risk that large incumbents could influence regulations to their advantage, potentially stifling competition and innovation. This could be something like, what's a good example? Creating extremely weird and specific guidelines for what is considered a meme coin versus utility asset in such a way that something like Trump's coin is classified in one way and other meme coins are classified another. That's like an example of how this sort of legislation could be used differently, or negatively, I should say. I think there's a ghost in my house. The fuck? Reduce transparency. If exemptions and safe harbors are too broad, they might allow for less transparency and increased risk of fraud. Okay, so that's building off... Where did it say it? This section, custody. The SEC plans to provide greater flexibility, including classifying the status of qualified custodians and considering exemptions to existing... So this... We'll have to see. Basically, like with any legislation, the specifics of how it's enacted matters a lot. Also, is this song about to play? Fuck yeah. Uneven enforcement, basically a risk with any law or politic. Shift away from enforcement could lead to inconsistent application of rules, creating confusion and potential... I don't even count that, no. I think more enforcement, given the state of our industry, is good. Okay. Mark Zuckerberg looking for a stablecoin partnership to give users crypto support. I have not seen this. Maybe we can do one game at the end of this stream. We'll see. Oh, this all? Oh god, I hate Forbes. Look how many things my ad blocker blocks, where there's just these giant. And when I say ad blocker, I don't use an ad blocker. I just use a good browser that you should all be using. And if you're using any browser that's not this, you're literally an idiot. No offense. But there's no reason you shouldn't be using Brave. Yeah. Where were we? Bitcoin and crypto have exploded, blah, 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 blah. The Bitcoin price skyrocketed to over 100,000. A leak has revealed Mark Zuckerberg is planning to add crypto support for Meta's 3 billion global users. Meta is in discussions with crypto firms. You know how Ripple, one of the news stories we covered last week, is Ripple looking to buy Circle and USDC. Ripple Labs and Meta have a documented connection through their joint participation in the Tech Against Scams Coalition. This initiative launched on major tech companies. Beyond this coalition, there's no publicly known strategic partnership. I'm not wondering about strategic partnerships. I'm wondering about secondary connections, such as advisors or employees that have worked at both companies or are close friends, or anything that could imply that the companies may announce some sort of partnership in the future. Okay, that's going to take a minute because it's going to do some deep research. I gotta answer this first. Are you primarily interested in shared employees or advisors? Are you looking for publicly documented? Do you want to include early stage? Oh, perfect. 1, 2, and 3 are all things I'm interested in. Please include them all in your scope. And then 4, what level of speculation are you comfortable with? I'm comfortable with any level of speculation. Please just call out and highlight anything that seems like a reach and which is very speculative. Okay, so now it's going to do some deep research for a while here, and we'll come back to it. But that was my first thought. Meta is in discussion with crypto for blah, blah, blah. Meta, which runs Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp platforms. I think this might be the one that's actually pushing them to do this the most. I think they're looking at Telegram and thinking, why can't we do that with WhatsApp? It's developing a shared virtual reality. It's called the Metaverse. It's still licking its wounds from the failed attempt to upend the global financial system with Libra DM. Yeah, that was weird. It's a Libra thing that was torpedoed by regulators in 2019. Since then, the dollar... Also, what the fuck is this music? Hold on. Since then, the dollar-pegged stablecoin market, dominated by Tether, has seen massive growth, helped by Trump's embrace of Bitcoin and crypto that includes his ambition to pass landmark stablecoin legislation that would see cryptocurrencies become a part of TradFi. The phenomenal success of USDT, which landed Tether profits of $13 billion, has led to a sudden influx of rivals, with tech and Wall Street giants including PayPal and Bank of America all getting involved. Last month, research by Standard Chartered Bank found the stablecoin market could grow to $2 trillion by the end of 2028, from $230 billion currently. Wow. So like a 4x, right? Or no, 8x. Meta chief executive Zuckerberg spoke at a Stripe conference this week. Stripe announced it would be accelerating its use of stablecoins using the stablecoin infrastructure company Bridge it bought last year. Oh yeah. There's plenty of things that we're late to and have to claw our way back into the game, which I think we're pretty good at, Zuckerberg reportedly said following his appearance on stage. This development makes perfect sense. It's already common practice in the metaverse and video gaming industries to use stablecoins to enter the in-game economy. Not exactly yet. I would not say it's that common. None of the normal games I play have stablecoins, only Web3 games. But we're getting there. Chief executive, blah, 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 blah. So in that regard, there's nothing new here, just the sheer scale potential of the Meta ecosystem underlines the acceleration of adoption of stablecoins as superior payment rails. Why can't these people ever just talk like normal humans? What kind of a sentence is this? Who has this come out of their mouth? Just the sheer scale potential of the Meta ecosystem underlines the acceleration of adoption of stablecoins as superior payment rails. Just say like the sheer scale of Meta's ecosystem enables massive stablecoin adoption. Like, why? These people are so weird. Okay. Got one more here. Hopefully our research will be done then. Coinbase agreed to acquire Dubai-based Deribit. Oh, interesting. Wait, didn't someone buy Deribit already, like a year or two ago? Or no, wait, am I thinking of Coinbase? Maybe they started these talks like a year ago and now they're... May 8th, so yeah, like about a week ago. Deribit's actually a great platform. Hmm. Oh, I actually didn't know this. So all of Coinbase's side products came from acquisitions. So Coinbase Custody came from them acquiring someone called Zappo Bank. Oh, that's cool. Coinbase Prime came from something they acquired called Tagomi. Yep, Coinbase to acquire leading institutional. Huh. Okay, I like this news. Deribit, I already liked. They were fairly trustworthy. They had really good infrastructure. They felt like using like BitMEX or someone, only more regulated. And Coinbase buying them, making sure they're going to be regulated by a publicly traded company. Remember, that's what Coinbase is. That's dope. That's awesome. You've never heard of Deribit like us? Forget how to spell it. Deribit. There we go. It's basically just like a slightly more responsible BitMEX or Bybit. It's it's traditional. I mean, they have perps, but it's also traditional contract swaps and futures. See. So it's a very TradFi for familiar. Bittrex, yeah, that's another old one. Are they? They're technically still around, right? Yep. Oh no. Nope. I remember there was this one exchange that was like a perfect ripoff of Binance back in the day. What was it? Maybe it was Bittrex actually. So real quick, by the way, as you guys know and have hopefully seen, we have 2 events at Consensus this week. And as long as the consensus streaming works right, I'm going to be streaming both of those live here in the Discord, so we can all have like a watch party. First one tomorrow, I think it'll be right after tea time, if I remember right. And then Fridays, I think it's like after the movie. So we can all hang in here and watch together. Should be fun. And also, whenever you guys go to engage with a Shogun post, scroll down, throw some of the comments alike. These are your people. It helps the parent post do better on the algorithm too. Also, I recognize everyone now. Look at all these friends. Don't recognize you, but that's probably just because your Discord name's different. Ramalka, Ask, homies. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream soon-ish here, but we spent a long time on news. I want to do a little bit of charting for you guys. So what coins do you want to look at? What should we take a look at? This as far as it gets. Sometimes you beat it up and fix a penny up, but find and knock you down. Maybe I'm too slow. What coins are you guys holding right now? Let me just look at your current holdings even. Or what coins are you looking to enter? And maybe you're looking for a good time to enter them. Also, Bitcoin having a little bearishness here. And if nobody has specific coin requests, maybe we run a Rumble or a GeoGuessr and end off the stream. You're all in ETH? Okay. Dude, I wish I could give you advice. Like, what I'd want to say is dropping below our recent low, so somewhere like here, that should probably be a stop loss level. Arguably, could even do a stop loss like higher based on what you want to kind of do. Like this wick, you could place a stop loss on. Because just based on everything we're seeing here, if we were to go lower from here, we'd probably go a good bit lower. But the reason I don't want to outright recommend that, crypto is actually a scammy market in the sense that the people who move markets and market makers, they look at basic TA and psychology. So if this is as clear to everyone else as it is to me, and I think it is, this is a very standard clean position. I'm not going to say any names, but some big market makers and big traders out there that control the market probably know that a lot of people are watching this and know that if it goes below this level or below this trend line, it's going to look really bearish. So what will happen sometimes, that's just, it makes it so much harder to trade in Web3 than elsewhere, is something like this could happen. You've all heard the term, like flash crashes or just lick wicks. Something like this could happen, and that's not unrealistic at all. It sucks. Color should I make this? I'll just do a pink. Something like this could happen, where it actually does a crazy flash crash. Maybe it even just ends up being a wick without the candle body, but it hits people's liquidation levels and stop losses, only to then shoot back up. See, that's why I don't want you to ask me to decide when to sell. I don't want to be the person that decides that for you. If you're spot, everyone trades different. If you're spot, I wouldn't sell at all. I mean, it's hard. But yeah, if you're spot, I might not sell at all. I might want to just hodl, knowing that the long term is in my favor, right? Give me a second here. Sukumi, let me ask you this. Do you have more money, like a stablecoin money on the side waiting to put in, or are you 100% allocated? Are you looking to sell ETH because you want to get more ETH and you want to day trade it? Basically, do you have I don't know if you use a DEX or a SEX, but wherever you trade, do you have liquidity ready to buy more ETH with, or are you 100% in ETH with your liquid trading funds? I want to get more ETH, and you have money to do that. You don't need to like, you have some liquidity on the side ready to buy ETH with. Even if it's in another token, it could be another token, but you have something else you're ready to sell to buy ETH with, whether it's USDC or something else. But I have some money also. Okay. I probably wouldn't sell your ETH. I would probably do this. Hold your ETH, and when you get this strong, strong feeling of, fuck, I should have sold, or I want to sell my ETH now, that feeling will probably come when it does something like this, right? When you feel that gut feeling of fear, you're like, oh my god, the market's tanking, I should have sold. That's when you buy more with that money you have on the side. It's a luxury you have because you're in spot, right? Not financial advice again, doesn't always work, but for blue chip assets like Bitcoin and ETH, long term they're going to go up. So if you're in spot, you have time on your side. The only reason you should be selling and buying frequently is if you're trying to accumulate more ETH at a faster rate than ETH goes up in the market, aka swing trading, day trading, scalp trading, which you absolutely can do, but it's a lot more risky. And it seems like right now, I don't think you want that level of risk. It seems like you're trading fairly conservatively. You have USDT, it waits for the opportunities. Yeah. So that's what I would do. And I know that sounds silly. I know it makes more sense to maybe like pick a price level to do it. Definitely do that. So like this level here of 2480 we looked at earlier, that's like two fibs lining up. It's a strong resistance and support line. So maybe do something around there, but in general, what you should do is when you feel the fear and like, fuck, I need to sell, this is going down, it's probably when you actually should put that USDT you have in the side into more Ethereum. Um, Other than that, let's look at a quick example of how you can DCA sell in a pretty safe way. Let me go to a random other coin, just so it doesn't have stuff on the chart. But this applies to Ethereum. This will apply to whatever. What's a big coin? I need a big coin with decent chart. Here, we'll do Atom. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways you could do like DCA selling. But one way that's pretty easy is with, not easy, but that I like, is with a, which one do I usually use? Shoot, I'm so used to having it. I think it's the exponential one I use. You can set this up with tons of different, like whatever. Okay, we're currently on the 5 minute. So I want to do 24 as the length. Oh no, no. Do 48. We're doing multiples of 12 because 12 times 5 is 60, right? Yeah, man, my brain is melted. And no, let's actually go 72. Yeah, something like this could work. Okay, so oh no, this isn't the moving average I use, damn it. I have one where you can move it up and down. This just moves it left and right. But actually, let's see if we can accomplish the same thing. Hold on, this might be a big, never mind, ignore me. But let me just try something real quick. And I actually am gonna up this even more. So this does kind of work. This isn't exactly the setup I usually use, but there's a million different strategies you could use to pick this. But what I basically did is this is an exponential moving average line. And actually I'm going to add some more smoothing to it. Just to make it look a little prettier. Wait, why did that make it worse? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can basically look historically on a chart and set up any number of indicators. RSI could work for this, moving average, and basically have a rough plan for yourself that says, I'm going to sell when it's above or below, or whatever makes sense in your specific case. So, and I'm going to buy when it's below. So here, like let's say you started it down here, you might start buying here. It gets well below the MA. Obviously, you have this big gap here. That's why, no, this isn't a good example because you can't move it up and down. Never mind. Let me try and grab another. I don't even know what some of these are, to be honest. Like, what is a guppy multiple? Let's check it out, just because I'm curious. Nope. Oh, why is my brain frozen? Hold on. Let's just go, let me also get off of this 5 minute. That might be throwing me off a little here. Yeah, okay, this will be a little better. Let's do 15. So it was kind of funny I even took this long to post up. Sort of one of the easiest, most basic trading strategies you'd ever see. Also, let me catch up on this real quick. I bought ETH at 1700. I set buy order at 222 to buy. Let's see, where is that? I don't have an ETH chart right now. I think the point I'm trying to get across here is having any plan and sticking to it is probably better than nothing. So you could have some plan that says you set up a chart like this. I just randomly picked a weighted moving average, put in 400. You should spend more time tweaking the settings and stuff. But just very simply, short when it's above, buy when it's below. Or if you're doing spot, sell and buy. So here, would have bought a bunch. We're under the MA. Here, I would probably have a DCS strategy set up if I was like determining when to sell, where I might do something like if we are X% above the line I sell. So like, where is our... We trying to not forget. Yeah. That's strange. So let's say like whenever we're more than 5% above the MA that I set up, I'm going to do some selling, or maybe more than 6%. So here, during this area, I might have sold a bit. That probably would have been the only time I sold. So I would have sold some here, if my roll was 6%, right? It's not above. So I would have sold some here, and now we're below again. And I'd probably pick a different percentage for below, because if we're in a bull market, these things aren't going to be even. So maybe I'd say if we're more than 4% below our MA, I'm going to buy. So I might buy somewhere down here. We get above 4%. Here we dipped above, but we're not selling any because we're only a little bit above. Here we dipped well below 4 again. I'll buy some more. Here, if we're just following our rule, I wouldn't do anything. I would keep going. Here we're below 4 again. So I might do my last DCA buy right there. And then we're going to start ripping. And you would want to look at the greater market and you'd adjust your percentage, right? Things started exploding. So we want to raise it from 4% or whatever we were using before. Actually, we were using 6, right? For the uptrends. So like, let's change it to say Let's say we wanted to be above 8% to want a DC sell. So boom, on this huge, we might have started selling a little. And you can argue if that's good or not. Taking profit's always good. And then this whole area pretty much up until right about here, we'd be selling. And then again, for our drawdowns, we'd pick a much lower percent because we're in a bull market. And so you might buy some here, where more than 30, whatever percent you picked, below the EMA. And I'm not saying this is the best strategy. I don't use this particular one. I kind of came up with the details there off the top of my head. The point I was trying to illustrate is purely picking a strategy after you've tested it a lot and sticking with it is better than just sort of winging it and going with the flow of the market. Because at least you can do some basic like back testing. You can see, okay, how would this have performed historically? You can see in a lot of cases it would have worked pretty well, right? Here we were fucking 9% above the EMA, so you would have, if you were using a strategy, you would have been selling this whole peak up here, which would have made you very happy when now you're below your percentage here, and you're DCAing with a lot more funds because you sold up there. Too easy on me, that's the funniest thing ever. Thanks. There are stronger levels at the top, but I tried to choose the one closest to the bottom. I think two 140s, maybe just upper a bit. Yeah, let's head back to ETH real quick. Two 140. What made you pick two 140? Yeah, where'd two 140 come from? If I see any price level around here, it'd probably be right here, where we have this fat volume candle on the side and price action here. If we were to fall below this line, which would be a little bad, our next buy line for me would probably be around here. I don't know what 6140 is. Just set a bit upper of it. I mean, I guess I don't think it'll go down that low, to be honest. We'll see. That's just my guess, though. And it looks like, you know, I was going to end the stream early, but why don't we kill some time, see if we can't break out of this flag while we're on stream. I think that'd be a really good sign. We got 15 people left in here. We do a quick geo, rumble. Does anyone want me to look at other charts? I'll give the stream another 15 minutes or so. We'll see if we can break out of this wedge. This coffee, yeah. No way sound like I'm outdated, I face down. Way around enough, let me wait for a minute. Makes some sense, but who can really predict the market? No one. But what you can do is you can predict what other people think the market will do. Because that's, I don't know if you were here earlier in the stream, Hannah, but I was saying trading is really more psychology and philosophy than it is finance. There's so much that has to do with thinking of the free market as a person, as an entity that has its own desires and wishes and such. And most trading is literally just like all a trend line is, like let's say this trend line I drew here. That's only a thing because different people trading around the world decided it was going to be a thing, weirdly. Like 1, 2, that's not a trend line. But as soon as we got to here, a lot of people probably just noticed, like, oh, that would sort of be a line connecting these. Maybe I'll do some selling here. And boom, suddenly you have your third, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? I was watching on YouTube wondering why. I need more YouTube views. I appreciate it. No harm there. No harm. Me. All right, let's do a little rumble in chat. Why not? Why not? Hope you strike it rich. Hannah, are you holding? What tokens are you holding right now? And look at some of your assets if you want. Bounty hunter, get you goodbye. Goodbye, come on. The toast on my arm ain't up enough. Get up. Let it be, I wanna say something. I won't lie though, this is like a very pretty setup for ETH. This is like such a good chart that it makes me worried because it's so clean and perfect that I feel like market makers in whales are going to trade against it. Look at this, just crazy run up, bit of a pullback, sort of consolidation more than anything. Look at the volume in here. Another start of a run up, right? So let's do a little measuring real quick, actually. I don't even know where I want to measure, really. Let's see. Actually, we'll measure right to here. Okay. So our first pump was about 40%. Our next pump was 13-ish%, if we want to consider these different pumps. So with that being a fraction of the last leg up, I kind of consider this a pre-pump, meaning if we do continue to go up, this is sort of just the first leg of what, actually I can just extend my, in theory, you could expect up to another like 40% rise, right? So where would that bring us? That would bring us back close to ATH, if we did that again and towards a fib level. So this is the kind of pattern that can confirm a launch or takeoff, but it's so clean that it worries me. Like this is just such a perfect bull flag falling wedge that I think, I don't know, only time will tell. But I think a lot of people that make markets see how clear it is, and then probably gonna do one of these. We'll see. How Moodang made 10x in like 1 week. Yep. Yeah, Moodang went crazy. Not exactly sure why. I think there might have been a lot of shorts on it. Is Moodang not on? No, it definitely is, right? Maybe it's not. Nuances you're supposed to explain. I wonder if it had a bunch of shorts on perp platforms. Let's see. No? Actually. Probably not. Huh. What are we looking at for market cap? Let's see. We're back at $250,000 market cap. Okay. A quarter bill. Nice, nice. Rigged rumble. Lycos always wins. He's a cheater. That's all. Lycos activated the hacks. He did. Running on my own. Hold on a second. Suku, what's your TG username? I'm gonna make sure you have delete permissions in the Telegram. Actually, I can just look here. Hold on. Bottled inside like an ultra on the outside. Don't get up to help more. You could stick around more. Searching for a wife who likes to trade, hit me up with off. That's the new Web3 alternative, standing at the Grand Exchange buying GF. Buying girlfriend. Buying GF 1 mil. K. Jesus, seizure. Wait, what's that? JP Morgan has stepped out of its private blockchain and settled a real transaction on a public network with help from Chainlink and Ondo Finance. The bank used Chainlink tech to move money between accounts. I hope you guys have a Chainlink bag. When it goes crazy. Oh my god. Chainlink is so interesting. They don't do anything to market to retail users. They don't want retail users knowing just how much. If Chainlink flexed all of its partnerships the way other and like updates the way other projects did, it'd be like the third biggest crypto. But they keep it fairly on the down low. Like, did they even tweet about this JP Morgan thing? Yes, okay, thank God. I was gonna say it looks like they only retweeted things. But yeah, they don't hire KOLs to like spread this info. They just sort of work in the shadows, build cool stuff. Also, market looks like we might be seeing a drawdown. Yeah, let's check out Yang Yang. Been here for just over a month. Won a rumble. And just a pleb. Yes, sir. Welcome, Yang Yang. Or Yang Yang. Yang Yang Yang. Gang Gang. What? Official token of big hair company? A consolidated brand in the beauty market, now also present in Web3. I don't trust stuff like that. Gang, gang. Good luck. Okay. I might go close a couple of my longs, depending on what happens in the next 5 or 10 here, but this looks like it's rolling over. I wanted to see a bit more, like right here. Okay, I'm looking at Ethereum. I know this chart's chaotic. Yeah, let me go back to here. Right here, I was really looking for this to pop upwards. Now it's starting to look like we might be doing this sort of like a rollover. So this is what I'm worried about right now. This sort of look. I like to see sharper rebounds and uptrends. But again, this is the 1 minute chart, so I'm not putting a lot of faith into it. I'm just keeping it in mind, so to speak. Also, this is so weird that right here is our volume peak on this little view. Okay, getting a strong bounce on ETH, it looks like, actually. What's happening here? Not really. Way over here, so far beneath it, I can never talk now, never reach you. that face fits so perfectly. I did the Web3. I did the Web3 and it took all of my money. Now, let's say I do close my ETH position in the next 10 or so minutes. Let's say it drops to, I took off a stop loss, but I'm looking at it on my chart and I'll just manually stop it out if I need. But I'll probably be looking to buy back in with that money within like an hour or two if I do make that sell. I think any pullback we see today is going to be somewhat brief and more of a correction in the market than any kind of actual big downward swing. Again, if we go back to this and zoom out, like we haven't really had a real correction. This is sort of a drawdown, but like also for like context, I keep my leverage account very, very low leveraged overall. Usually like around 50% or less margin usage. Today's my lucky day. Strive to create better art. Timmy, did you made for Telegram? Wait, what? Did I make what for Telegram? I want to short ETH like a degen and fall asleep. And yes, agree with this, Suku. I've seen you around a bunch, Yang Yang. I love your art. Very cool. You and the bottom. Waiting for MEXC to interest. There's somewhere that does offer at least 500x. I think maybe 1,000. Yeah, BTCC. Wait, MEXC has 500. That. Jesus Christ. On this exchange too. What if BTCC? Yeah, what are we talking about? Let's just go straight for the money. 100x BTC leverage. I actually think I have seen somewhere that does. Oh, okay. Rolled it technically, right? But that's kind of pure gambling. And I can't even open it here without a VPN. What risk management strategies do you use with 1,000? You don't. You don't do it. With 1,000x leverage for a $22,000 account, you only need a tick or two against you to blow your account. There's no legit broker that will offer that kind of leverage. Yeah. Robo Forex. Let's see what this is. Let's see how awful this is. No. 1,000x leverage is not really real. Like Rollbit does offer it, but it's more of just a gamble, and they happen to use the Bitcoin price as like the random number generator in a sense. Like you are trading at 1000x, but no. And then somebody just called this out for TradFi that apparently offers. I don't know. I'm not gonna dig into it too much. Someone said this is a TradFi thing that offers 1000x, which is just ridiculous. Oh, okay. Forgot I had this do some research earlier. So Meta is looking to get into the stablecoin industry. Ripple is looking to buy Circle and USDC. So I had ChatGPT do a deep, took 15 minutes, research on if there is any connection between Meta and Ripple that we should know about. Okay, overlapping personnel. Several individuals have held roles at both companies. Kahina? Kahina Van Dyke, a veteran of Citibank and MasterCard, joined Facebook in 2016. In 2018, moved to Ripple Labs. Tom Chanik used to be a corporate communications manager in Facebook, is now working at Ripple as head of communications. Ethan Beard, formerly the director of Facebook's developer network, joined Ripple to lead its developer initiative called Xspring. Okay, wait, there's definitely a potential connection here. These examples show direct human connections, sub overlap, blah, blah, blah. Speculative impact. Keyword speculative. Keyword speculative. Observers have speculated that having ex-Facebook talent could make Ripple's approach more Silicon Valley-like or even pave the way for partnerships. For example, Keena Van Dyke's history of forging partnerships at Facebook or MasterCard and Citibank prompted rumors that she might facilitate a Ripple-Facebook partnership. Oh, so I'm not the only one thinking about this. There's an entire... Oh no, I see, yep. Yeah, other people have speculated about this. These are just speculation for now, though, of course. Put this back here. Professional and social relationships between key figures. Okay. Tech conferences and public forums. Ripple's CEO and Facebook's former blockchain chief have appeared in the same industry forums. They've even talked about each other. Quote, I'm going to send a case of champagne to Dave Marcus, the guy who runs Libra. That was Facebook's little stablecoin they tried to do. He noted that Libra's debut had been a massive call to action for banks. Highlights one of the instances where Ripple and Facebook's crypto initiatives were discussed in tandem, with Garlinghouse, Ripple's CEO, even thanking Marcus from Facebook for boosting industry momentum. Both companies' leaders participate in high-profile events. This one just makes sense. They'll both be at. Didn't share a stage. Nothing too interesting there. Personal networks. Let's see. On the more social and political note, Facebook's longtime COO and Ripple advisor Gene Sperling have a long-standing professional relationship. Sperling, a former National Economic Council director under President Clinton and Obama, joined Ripple in 2015. He had worked with Sandberg during the Clinton administration years. And I just realized none of this music is coming through on the YouTube screen, is it? I don't know why that would be. But, oh well, I won't get copyright struck. My voice is coming through, right? Suku, are you watching on YouTube? That's all that really matters. He had worked with Sandberg during the Clinton administration years and even acknowledged in Sandberg's book for providing key advice. While Sandberg has no direct role at Ripple, this connection via Sperling illustrates a social network overlap. Yep, basically just friends and business connections between various employees. LinkedIn and Silicon Valley connections. It's also common to find numerous intercompany connections on LinkedIn. Don't read too much into that. These social graphs overlay are harder to quantify. Yeah. In summary, key figures at Ripple and Meta have crossed paths in public dialogues, and they maintain personal acquaintances. The relationships don't escalate to formal partnerships, but they indicate a familiarity and potential alignment of vision. We see Ripple's leadership openly engage with Meta's crypto endeavors, sometimes with friendly critique or praise, and a shared membership in industry events. So, okay. Ripple and Facebook also intersect through their financial backers and advisors. This is where I was getting interesting. Peter Thiel, Interesting. Tech billionaire Peter Thiel was Facebook's first major investor. Notably, Thiel's venture firm Founders Fund, was an early investor in Ripple as well, in Ripple's angel round in 2013. Founders Fund joined other VCs to back the startup. That means the same venture capital money and guidance that helped launch Facebook also helped fund Ripple's growth. Wow. Anderson? Horowitz. Interesting. From A16Z. Mark Andreessen, co-founder of Netscape. That's crazy. I haven't heard that name in forever. Netscape. Oh my god, it still has a website? Why? Wait, what? Is any of this? This is up to date. This is about Trump. Netscape's still a thing. No. Channels, auto, career, entertainment. What are they having fun in games? AOL? It takes you to AOL. Okay. Okay. So Andreessen, co-founder of Netscape, joined Facebook in 2008. Prominent advisor. He's also an early investor in Ripple from as early as 2013. His influence spans across both companies, steering Facebook as a board member and financing Ripple as a venture capitalist. Beyond Thiel and Andreessen, Ripple's early funding roster leads like a who's who of Silicon Valley that often overlaps with Facebook investors and partners. Interesting. Lightspeed Venture Partners, Google Ventures and IDG Capital, and many VC firms that invested in Facebook late stage are also supporting Ripple. Interesting. It's worth noting that some institutional investors have stakes or roles in both companies. Peter Thiel's Founders Fund, Andreessen Horowitz, and even Google's investment arms have foot in both camps. This implies a network alignment. Influential tech investors saw promise in Facebook's social networking revolution, and a decade later, in Ripple's financial blockchain revolution. Some common backing doesn't mean the companies coordinate, but it creates an informal alignment. Board members and advisors from the investor side might see compatibility in how the two firms could eventually collaborate. They're in that Tech Against Scams coalition we read about earlier, both of them. Actually, who started that? Let's see. Coalition launched by Coinbase. Okay. They probably just invited a bunch of people. That's not necessarily a connection. Both companies have engaged with policy making. It's kind of vague. World economics. Both participate in global forums that shape. Pretty much all massive companies do that. Facebook's Libra, later Diem, association itself created a network overlap. Libra's founding members. Oh wait, are we seeing the ETH movement we need? Yep. Wait, did it redraw? What the fuck? Do you guys see my lines all move? All my trend lines just there? That was weird. Look at this. Come on. I think it does want to break out, clearly. God, it wants to break out so bad. Look at this. We kind of have a mini bull flag within our bull flag. All right. Oh, now of course Bitcoin's gonna tank. Everything's gonna tank. Oh. Oh, they're both partners with Visa and MasterCard, sort of. Ripple's sort of partnered with them. Yeah, it's a member that's contributing to payment standards. Okay, so in conclusion, I think there is a possibility that we see Ripple try to acquire Circle for their stablecoin market, and then work with Facebook, who's looking for a stablecoin provider, as Ripple and Facebook already have quite a few professional and industry connections. That is my Timmy prediction. You heard it here first. If that comes true in a month or two, you all have to let the world know that I predicted it. No music on YouTube? Okay. I'll fix that another time. Honestly, it'll probably just get me copyright struck anyways, unfortunately. Not that I care. I'll do music next time on YouTube. Okay, let's read the conclusion, I guess. In the summary, they're both connected in several secondary ways despite no formal partnership to date. They share key people, from communication managers to partnership directors, who are moved between the two companies, and their leaders have engaged with each other's ideas publicly. They've been funded and advised by some of the same prominent figures, linking their early narratives. And through industry, coalitions, conferences, and aligned missions, Ripple and Meta often stand on common ground. Now, here's the important part, in a way. It's important to separate fact from conjecture. The facts show a rich network of personal, finance, and social ties between the two companies. From those facts, though, one can infer a degree of mutual influence. But any direct alliance remains speculative at best. By highlighting both confirmed connections and more indirect overlaps, we see a nuanced picture. Ripple and Meta actually inhabit the same fintech web space, with multiple threads linking them. We'll have to keep an eye on that. What do I think about ENA? I have not looked at ENA in a very long time. Or really just much at all, actually. Let's see. Oh, big drawdown. No. This is the stablecoin protocol, right? Athena. Or yeah, not this token's obviously not the stablecoin, but they have a stablecoin, correct? Hmm. An interesting chart. Pure experience in crypto leads me to believe we actually might. I mean, I don't follow this coin at all, but it's not crazy in this market to think we might come up to this line again. It's a very tenuous trend line, only 3 points. But as for its stuff down here, we're above its big volume level. It seems we've broken above a couple key areas. I would say, actually, honestly, this volume level pretty much. Yeah. It's funny how that usually lines up. This blue line here would be, just off the top of my head, this would be the important line to watch for ENA. Meaning if it gets down to there and you want to be a little risky and bullish, maybe buy some more. If it gets below it, that could be a pretty bad sign, and I might close out the position. Other than that, remember this particular moving average is random. All of its settings I just kind of came up with out of nowhere earlier. But let's actually try something. So I'm going to tweak this number until historically I could use this as something to trade off of. And this actually looks pretty good. Just, yeah, actually. So let's say we were dropping down here. Let's say you knew that. Touching the trend line here could open a short. Closing it, you'd have to pick your own strategy. But again, touching the trend line, opening a short, a lot of places to pull profit. Getting over the trend line, coming back, and not, I keep saying trend line, moving average, sorry. Finding the moving average as some support, could enter a long. Finding it as support again, enter a long. Finding it as support again, you might enter a long if you're just following your strategy. Now we have dipped under it. We come back up to it. It is now acting as resistance. You would close your positions or open shorts. And actually, in this case, that would be a perfectly profitable move, depending on when you bought here, if you sold up here. Continuing along, you'd probably do some DCAing technically if you're scaling back in or closing a short. Down here, but again, when would you fully close the short or enter your long? Okay, we're above. We're going to look for that moving average to be support. It does not act as support. We fall right through it. Holding my short, holding my short. Maybe you'd sell here because you're looking at other things on the chart. I'm just keeping it simple right now. But once again, you get above it. Fall back through it, honestly. I'd probably stay short. Here I might close my short just because I'm seeing a triple bottom here. Then we have this big rocket up above the EMA. So at this point, somewhere in this range, I would probably enter a long of some kind. I would leave some money on the side because I would be thinking this area is probably similar to this area. And we might trend down a bit until I can follow my strategy and buy on the moving average, right? So this will keep going up, this might go down. But in case this is more of this move, I would enter some now, because see how this doesn't touch the moving average again for a while? So in case it explodes and gets away from you, if this is a coin you're watching and you believe in, I would have a position now. I wouldn't be completely on the sidelines. But I would also be holding some on the side to buy at either this level or when we touch and test our moving average as support. Okay, I think I'm gonna call the stream there. It's been about 2 hours. My throat doesn't want to talk anymore. Oh, we didn't get to see ETH break out of this though. I still think it might, although it's looking less and less hopeful. Did I go to the wrong chart? I did. Actually, this would be where it might turn around if it does. Kind of near this wick, near the bulk of this weird choppy bottom. This could be where we bounce out. Maybe I'll keep the stream up for just a moment. Although I don't know why, it doesn't matter. Man, I drew that thing way off screen. Then also let's do a super quick do a little volume analysis on USDC pairs are trading. Oh, that's not volume. No, wait. Doesn't matter. Like the tether one. Okay, so our bulk of our volume is actually up here, and it tapered off as we got lower. Zoom out a bit. Yeah, this little candle is nuts. Yeah, I haven't seen a good volume spike. I'm going to delete these because this is going to confuse me later. That was just from my example earlier today. Desperado. Oh, big drawdown. Why is it the third option? What is ETH-Fi? Why does that sound familiar? Is that like, oh, because it's literally ETH-Fi. Hmm, that's not great. If we close this 5-minute candle below these wicks, I'm going to close some of my ETH longs just to keep my account safe. But I'm hoping we wick back up. Time is it? 2 minutes till the 5-minute closes. Actually, let's see if the 15-minute means anything in this case. Would have. It's going to close in 2 minutes as well, though. Let's see. This is why I don't always set stop losses myself. I do for longer term positions and big positions, but when I'm doing closer day trade swinging, specifically because of wicks, I sometimes do manual stop losses. So what I mean by that is like I would have set a stop loss right here, but it's very possible that we wick below it and come up. So I'm actually just going to wait until a 5 and 15-minute candle close in 1 minute here. And then if it closes below that, I'm just going to market stop out of my positions or limit order depending on how it looks. Oh, what is this? Where'd my Discord go? Okay, there we go. France, the daughter of the head of a cryptocurrency. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I did see this, dude. Kind of fucking nuts. I mean, it. No, these are not terrorists. These are fucking hoodlums trying to. Big difference. Those are not terrorists. They're certainly douchebags and should be in jail. But yeah, we live in this interesting time where crypto has made a lot of people both public notable figures and rich who it happened quick for them. Is frozen? And so there's a lot of targets in crypto, weird, for crime in general. Okay, this doesn't look good. I'm going to close out of some of my ETH stuff. Probably not 100%, but... And just because I'm closing out doesn't mean I'm going to be scared to hop back in quickly, right? If I think there's a big reversal that comes, the last note, I'm glad that reminded me, the last note I was going to say is when you pick a platform, make sure you actually understand their trading fees, maintenance fees, if it's leverage, their spread, slippage, all these things, because if you're confident about those numbers, you can be a lot more comfortable saying like, okay, I'm going to sell out of this entire position right now. And maybe I'm wrong, and in 5 minutes I'll buy it all back. And you can do a quick calculation in your head. Okay, that's only going to be about $4 in fees. Definitely worth lowering the risk. Or the lower risk, as opposed to just holding. Alright. I'm going to end the stream now, I think. It's been a good one. I'm going to be sitting waiting to enter longs again. Could be soon, honestly. Who knows? I actually still have a bunch of longs open, but to re-put in the money I just closed out of ETH. And yeah, we'll see. Some people are wearing their Ledger like necklace. Well, that's just dumb. Having a hardware wallet is debatably dumb. Depends on you. Alright. Everybody have a good day. We will catch you for tea time tomorrow and then the consensus stream of the live event. So hope you all enjoy. Remember, you can talk to mods or ambassadors if you want me to look at a certain token or news story, do some charting, answer questions, talk to a mod or ambassador. They'll get it on this sheet for next week. Everybody in here, make sure you also give me a subscription on YouTube or sub, throw this stream a like. If you're on YouTube, make sure to join the Discord so you can be part of this conversation above. And as always, if you are not leverage trading, you should be using Shogun. Central exchanges have their place when needed, but for the most part, you want to be on chain even if you're not familiar with it, and Shogun makes that easy. So we have plenty of links, plenty of people in the Discord ready to help you at a moment's notice. Any question you might want to ask, our awesome mods and ambassadors can help you out, even just other community members. I'm around all the time. Get to trading, friends. We didn't even look at any meme coins today, or like just smaller mid caps, but they're starting to wake up and go crazy again too. So Shogun's a great way to get involved with those. And one of the best things about it is just you never know when the next token you want is going to be on a new chain or a different chain. Maybe you only trade soul shitters, and tomorrow you find a project on Base that you think is going to 100x. Don't waste time figuring out bridges and wallets that support different networks when applicable and swap rates. Just Shogun, whatever coin you have on Solana, doesn't matter. Trade it to whatever coin you're looking for on Base or any other network in one click. Everybody have a great day. Make sure you set your reminders for the consensus events tomorrow. That's probably the most important thing going on. And then, as Suku just said, yeah, throw me a sub on YouTube. We'll catch you all next time. Have a good day, people.